The film has a real fantastical element to it that seems to suggest interpretations of allegory of the way that many of the characters are two different things in one. The black man turns out to be white. The character who looks like Jesus might be the devil. You have a hermaphrodite as one of the characters. That sort of duality of reality and fiction is obviously something that was very important to you in the making of this film.
Yeah, you must know that actually all the characters and all the basic stories are originally true. So all that universe is inspired by the little stories and anecdotes that told me a friend, a doctor, a real doctor, who really lived in the 60s in such a little town, Bizarre. The way he described that universe was half real, half invented. There were a lot of lies to make it more nice, to invent things just for the pleasure of telling these stories. So what I really liked was not the description of a universe, the realist description of anyway very interesting universe, but the way of telling the story, of lying from the beginning, which is probably also one of the big themes of our national mentality, some kind of infantilism and the need to not to tell the stories, not just to face the reality.
I didn't think that the theatricality was a problem at all. Like I said, I thought it was a very beautiful film, but I thought it was interesting that in terms of showing the outside world beyond, the sort of the very set-bound reality that the town seems to be, that only happens a couple of times in the movie when you present the sort of the gambling rabbits in the spring countryside, and then the sort of film universe outside at the very end of the movie. That those sort of intrusions of reality, I guess you only wanted to keep those to a minimum, but actually put them in there just to kind of contrast with what you had been showing elsewhere.
Well, the end is indeed it's just closing the frame, just to come back to see that what happened was the story. Somebody told the story full of lies. But the other sequence in the movie that happens outside, just I was never very sure if I should keep it or not. But indeed, sometimes a lot of people told me that they need a little breath of air. Even we need it, because everything was done during the winter in a ruined factory in Bucharest. It was -5 degrees every night.
Wow.
So it was really tough. So that it was a pleasure to shoot outside during the spring. But in the same time, all those images are very artificial. I mean, they're almost as painted photographs. So that it's not a reality. It's also a kitsch image. It's like a poster, a kind of poster you put on the walls. So you have a landscape.
Yeah, like a matte painting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just thinking of the kind of fairy tale aspect of the story, do you see Eastern European cinema as having a kind of surreality to it, the way that stories are told, maybe coming out of the sort of the communist regimes?
But this should be a very general judgment, and I'm not able to give it because I don't know. I can't speak about Eastern Europe. It's quite big, Eastern Europe. Well, Eastern Europe traversed a very strange historical period, common, where actually the truth or pronouncing the truth was prohibited. So ways were developed to tell the truth or about, to speak about the truth. So maybe it's something that...
Because you do kind of invoke history in the film. The fact that it starts off as a very kind of cold, landlocked experience where there's dark mentions of the party and a character named after Trotsky, and then as the weather gets warmer, sort of freedom seems to intrude on the town and sort of a party atmosphere. The other kind of definition of the word party.
Well, actually, that character again really existed, and what it was very strange in this description, the description of this world, was that really communism and communist party didn't seem to bother too much these people. I mean, they all succeeded to find ways of not caring about that, and even the party world was a caricature, and the person was eventually the chief of the party, local party, was one of theirs, one among the others. So it is not about the conflict. Even the party's rituals were more or less funny or subject to ending in the party. I love animals. I didn't. Of course, we bought already killed frogs to eat them. It's somebody else killed them.
And the idea of the train that goes right through the centre of the city, I guess the train tracks must have already been there in the factory.
Yes.
And so, was that already in the script, or was it?
It was in the script. The train should cross the main street and the main crossroad in the village.
Because I just wonder, when you're shooting partially in a live location, if you adapt the script somewhat to be improved.
We should actually. I looked for more than 1 year. I tried to look a real place that should be adapted for that universe, and I didn't find a real place. That's why we decided with the designers and so to make it in an artificial space and to go into this direction of artificial image.
Do you find when you're making a film like that it is influenced by recent projects that you worked on? Because, for example, a recent production that you did on stage was of Faust, and at times there do seem to be Faustian deals going on in the story in the film.
I started to think about the film much before I did Faust, so probably, I mean, I'm the same person who did both, so I didn't have any real intention to but probably there are things the same way.
And what do you think it is about these fantastical narratives that are attractive to you rather than things that are set in a more realistic world? What attracts you to fantasy more than realism?
It's more funny.
On that